Are you a sucker for love? Do you want to get married, get a wife, have some kids, get a dog, have some cats, have a legacy, bring it to church, show off to your pastor? Oh man, I have such a nice family. Well, this could be you one day. So here we have a man, my husband, male of 34. My husband, M34 of 2 years, found out some unsavory details about my F31 past, and I'm scared it could lead to divorce. Uh-oh. Uh-oh indeed. So, I'll try to keep this short. We've known each other 5 years, been married 2 years, and up until last weekend, things were perfectly fine. Maybe once in a while we bicker about money or something, but 99% of the time, we were happy together. While out last week for a friend's birthday, now ex-friend of mine told my husband about a relationship I had in college. My husband knew about my college boyfriend, but obviously, I didn't share intimate details about our sex life. Well, it came out that I used to engage in threesomes with him and his male roommate. Probably 12 to 15 in total. But all my husband knows is that it was, quote, more than once, unquote. College was a totally different time in my life. I was drinking every weekend, doing recreational drugs every month, partying, having casual flings, just like everyone else at that age. Not your husband, though, probably. Your husband probably wasn't doing any of that. And you probably knew that. Let's keep going. It was all hedonistic, quote, live for today, unquote, lifestyle that I thankfully grew out of. But you never told him, though. You grew out of it, thankfully, but you never told him. I look back on those years with a lot of regrets, and not just about my sex life. I mean, it was 10 plus years ago. I'm a totally different person now. So you claim. Regardless, I know my husband sees me in a totally different light. He hasn't slept in our bed since he found out, and he's barely spoken to me all week. I'm so scared he'll divorce me. I'm walking on eggshells just trying to stay out of his way while he works through this. I really want to sit him down and clear the air. I just don't know where to begin. I feel like one slip of the tongue and our whole relationship could be completely over. You know, I'll tell you a secret. Spoiler alert. That man's checked out. He's done. He does not give a fuck anymore. Right now, what he's probably trying to do is he's just like, yeah, no, hold on. Let me get my divorce lawyer on the line. Let me do all this because there's no getting past this. Right? Lying by omission, and this is why I want to instill a lesson in every single person, every single male at least watching this channel is never, ever, ever. The lesson is to never, ever, ever give the woman a benefit of the doubt. Never do it. Always assume the worst when it comes to women. 100% of the time. I know I'm not a good person for keeping this from him, so please don't lecture me. It was a chapter of my life I thought I'd close for good. It was my one secret. I honestly debated telling him about it, but it came to the conclusion that no positive outcome could come from it. Right, so you just lied. And then when it blew up in your face, now you're going to play the victim? Possibly? We'll see. Then too long didn't read. Okay, yeah, and then she summarizes it. And then, so, update. As of this morning, we still hadn't slept in the same bed or spoken more than 10 words to each other in passing. As I was waking up, he was walking in the front door with 2 coffees. He sat me down at our kitchen table and finally opened up to me. Basically, he feels that he was, quote, conned, his word, into the marriage, saying that he wouldn't have dated me, let alone married me, if he knew what he knows now. And he's 100% correct. You did con him. Lying by omission to get someone to do something that they wouldn't normally agree to is a con. In a just world, he would be able to sue you for fraud. But, sadly, we're not in this reality, so. Or was I? Yes. So his view of me has been irreparably changed, and he no longer sees me as, quote, someone worthy of being his wife, unquote. Quoting him here, loving prick. Oh, so now she's insulting him. Beyond the sexual aspect, he says he no longer trusts me because I, quote, kept something this big, unquote, from him our whole relationship. And he has his right to do that. There is no trust out here. Why? Why would he trust anything you have to say? I mean, you lied by omission this way. I mean, what other things have you lied by omission about? At that point, it's like, once a liar, you can't be trusted. Nothing I could do or say could convince him that these were past mistakes and not reflective of who I am today. He wasn't angry with me, didn't call me a slut or anything like that. Never once raised his voice. Part of me wishes he did, although I can't exactly say why right now. It felt like I was being laid off from a job, because you are being laid off. Being a wife, being a husband, that is, by all intents and purposes, a job. There's a contract that comes with it. You technically get paid. By all intents and purposes, you have a job and you failed. And so you're getting fired. So that's it. We are getting divorced. My supposed life partner turning his back on me without a second thought. See, okay, and now there's the victim. Now she's like shifting it. Now he's the problem. Like, so what if I lied? You're just going to turn my back on me? See, they sit there and say, notice how they sit there and say that, oh no, none of this matters. Body count doesn't matter. But then in that same breath, though, they'll lie about what theirs are. You ever notice that? Very, very interesting. So that's it. We are getting divorced. My supposed life partner turning his back on me without a second thought. He didn't even have the decency to discuss it with me first. Apparently, he visited his lawyer during the week and said, quote, the process is in motion, unquote, his words. Knowing him, there is absolutely no changing his mind. Yeah, good for him. My husband owns multiple business partners. Oh, let me say this real quick. Yeah, he's 100% right. If you're watching this, get a lawyer instantly. Even if you think there's even a slight hiccup in your relationship, get a lawyer. Lawyer up. Do not give these people the benefit of the doubt. They will take it. You give them an inch, they take your fucking life from you. Never, ever, ever give them the benefit of the doubt. My husband owns multiple businesses and wouldn't get married without a prenup. Smart. I signed it, honest to God, thinking we'd never, ever have to use it. Well, he had the loving document with him this morning. My man. He said he'd pay off the remainder of my student loans, which he isn't, quote, legally obligated, unquote, to do. So, see, and this is what I notice a lot of men do. A lot of smart men do this because a lot of men also don't do this, and then they end up getting fucked over in the socially later because the wife is like, well, then, go and cry online or cry to her friends and cry to the community and say, man, he just kicked me out for no reason. He was abusive and he left me with nothing. And he verbally and financially abused me. And the reason I cheated was his behavior drove me into that person's arms. Like, that's what they'll say. And then you're fucked, right? Even if you were in the right, you're fucked. So he, sadly, this is, as a man, you have to give up. Even if you're not legally obligated to, a lot of times you still have to give something kind of like a severance package, like a parting gift in a way to kind of smooth things over. So they can't say, turn out later and turn around and be like, yeah, he fucked me over. See, Well, he said he had the loving document with him this morning. He said he'd pay off the remainder of my student loans, which he isn't legally obligated to do. While I appreciate that, I am going to meet with my lawyer this week and see if the agreement can be challenged in court. So even though she gets nothing legally, he's deciding to, do something nice for her and say, hey, thank you. I'm paying your student loans. You're good. You're free. But no, that's still not enough for her. That's still not enough. We have built a life together. I gave him the best 5 years of my life, and I've even been 100% faithful to him. Lies. And also, it's also a lie that about the whole 5 years of your life thing, and even he knows that. The best years of your life were when you were getting trained by Chad and Tyrone in your dorm room. Those were the best years of your life. And damn well, by the way, this husband, right? He's probably said like, hey, your friend looks pretty cute. Why don't you go talk to her, see if you can set something up between us. He's asked that before, and she was like, ew, no, I would never do something like that. That is totally disgusting. You are a sick pig. She's probably responded with something like that, and then she's leaving that part out. But later, right? Later he finds out this, and he's like, hold up, record scratch, right? Record scratch, hold up, Nope. I'm cutting this bitch off. No. All right. We have built a life together. I gave him the best 5 years of my life, and I've been 100% faithful to him. I don't loving deserve to be tossed out like a piece of trash. Okay, so you do. And again, the victim mentality, the victim game. You're just gonna throw me away? You're just gonna throw our whole relationship away over this? It's like, the guilt trip, the victim complex. It's typical. So that's it. My life turned upside down in a span of a week over something I did 10 plus years ago before I even knew him. It's loving asinine. I guess, I don't know why they censored the word fucking with loving, but whatever, I guess. It's just kind of cringe. The thing is, even as I wrote the original post, in the back of my mind, I knew he was through with me. He's ended friendships and business partnerships over less. Yeah, as you should. Don't take any disrespect. Don't take any bullshit. Because if people will run over you. Do not trust anybody in this life. That is something I have learned the hard way, is to not trust a damn soul. Trust no one. Because, if you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile. In females' case, you give them an inch, they take their life. So that's it. My life turned upside down in over a week. Blah, blah, blah. He's ended friendships. And so, yeah. Yeah, that's the story. Well, for men who like women or whatever and want to have a family and want to be fruitful and multiply as the good Lord says to do, this is what's waiting for you. And don't you ever stand up for yourself either, because that's when the name calling, that's when the lack of accountability, that's when the shuffling and moving the goalposts and saying, I only did that because you did, that's when that'll happen. That's what's waiting for you. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Are you really? Because here's the thing, right? It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, because at some point you're going to find out something about your wife. At some point. There's no good girls out here. There's none. And I'm not saying that in an angry, red pill or black pill rager way. It's just kind of the truth. If your definition of good girl is the Proverbs 31 woman, then you are cooked. Dude, the amount of comments I see from people who are like, oh man, I just hope one day, and I pray to Jesus Christ every night that I could find a good wife, and there's just so many whores out here, and I don't think I'm ever going to find a virgin. That's yeah, dude, you're done. Buddy, it's over. Pack it up. Some 2,000-year-old dead Jew isn't going to save you. some warlord pedophile named Muhammad is praying to like Allah is not going to save you. These things are, it's done, buddy. Like you're not going to pray this problem away. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do, man? What other options do you have? Either A, be incel your whole life, or B, get with the program. I guess I don't know, because I mean there are no options out here, guys. There are none. Don't get married, I guess. If you do, I mean, I don't know. Do whatever you want.